Welcome to Art Traffic. Let's get going.
It's emotive. Like, you have to just be like, fuck yeah. Like, I always do hashtag yes, because it's like safe.
Thanks for checking in with us again after our winter break. We're all charged up for a new year here at Art Traffic. We have a bunch of great interviews coming up for you, including Meg Cranston, Dana Duff, Made in LA, and today's guests, Elizabeth Munzon and Cynthia Lujan from Flatline Studio in Long Beach, California.
Hey everybody, my name is Cynthia Lujan. I'm the co-director here at Flatline, an artist, an educator, an arts advocate, and Cal State Long Beach alumni. And yeah, we're really excited and thankful that you guys came out to see us today.
Yeah, super stoked. Welcome to our space. My name is Liz. I am a painter, also Cal State Long Beach alumni. And I'm an oil painter. I'm working on a series right now called The 400 Rabbits. It's based on Aztec mythology. And the next show that we're going to have here at Flatline is actually going to be my solo show. So I'm going to show people what I've been working on.
Okay, so we asked the Flatline girls, how did they get started, and this is what they had to say about it.
Well, so far it's been pretty easy because we've been inviting our friends, people we know, people that we go to school. So for me personally, the goal for curating the shows is bringing in my friends, my own community that I formed at Cal State Long Beach, and having them have a real life experience with showing their work. So when they show their work, we go through, how to set up the space and the ratio, eye level ratio, how to set up the canvas and have the didactic and all that. Yeah. So that way, if they do want to show somewhere else, do their own space, we're kind of here I like to see it as a resource also, or a space where we can all share each other our knowledge.
Yeah. And then just to elaborate on the engagement, we're both actually also a part of FA4 Collective. So we've had a community since graduating. It's a group of Cal State Long Beach, mainly Cal State Long Beach alumni, who formed together after they graduated, and some successive generations who've graduated since then, to continue our artist practice through crits or exhibiting together, sharing opportunities together, creating projects together. So I kind of see Flatline as being a springboard from that.
It's a splinter group.
Yeah. So, I've had experience curating shows and putting projects together before Flatline. It's not my first endeavor. In terms of space, this is the first time I have a dedicated showing space, shared showing space. Yeah. And it's been great. I think we've been able to just empower people by giving them a platform to exhibit their work. And for me personally, the space has been more like a glorified crit. So it's people come and just talk about each other's work with each other. I've tried to, the shows that I've curated, I've tried to have them introduce themselves, or I've introduced them to each other instead of just showing up to a show, dropping off your stuff, not knowing who's in it. I hate that shit. As much as I know how much work it takes to introduce all the artists together and or to each other, but I don't know, there's something really vital to that. It's about expanding your network and but not in a sleazy way, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's I don't know, the community is really important.
Huge value for it too. It's not.
Yeah,
that takes the sleaze factor out.
And there's just connections that I see within their work that I'd want them to have a dialogue with each other or give each other feedback, you know what I mean? So not only within the people who are coming to the shows, but the artists themselves exhibiting. Yeah.
Because I just kind of went into this I'm down, I'll do it, not really knowing how it works. I'm kind of just I'll figure it as I go. Yeah. And, I just figured that curating a show is a lot of responsibility, especially when it comes to showing other people's work. You want to represent them the right way. You want to represent their work for its meaning, for what it's worth. And I'm oh man, this is a huge responsibility. I have to research them so I represent them properly.
Yeah.
But it's been fun.
Something also that I've noticed, and I've known it over time, but I think people tend to think, oh, like someone's invited me to a show, I have to have a new piece. And it's like, no, like don't have a new piece, because I need to make this thing cohesive, and I need to make sure that this like works, all the work works together. And I think in art school, like it was really honed in, like, don't be lazy, make new shit all the time. Like, but it's like when you graduate, it's like, I still advocate for using shit that you made in undergrad. Like, why the fuck not? Like, it's your concepts, like further elaborate on it if you want to. But I don't know, I've been showing some pieces that are like made in undergrad, and like, I mean, artists who have created their pieces in undergrad.
Yeah. So this is what Liz had to say about her work and how she decides to keep work or store it or dismantle it.
It up. Like I feel bad about it, because I almost feel like I want to keep my old work to go back and see like, oh, this is where I started, to see the progress, to see the growth, my growth. But when it comes to storing it, it's like, man, I just have to pick and choose which ones I really want to keep and which ones have to go.
Was there ever like a really heartbreaking time when you decided to get rid of a piece? It was just gone.
Not so much. I guess after a while I don't get so attached to my work.
And you're talking about doing like 400 pieces.
Yeah.
Is that what's really gonna happen? Is it gonna be 400 pieces?
I just started, so those are the first 8, and I'm gonna do 400 drunk portraits, because my mythology is based on the 400 drunken rabbits, and the Aztecs believe that when a person consumed alcohol, there was these gods or spirits that enter your body and let you feel the feeling of intoxication. And so there's 400 levels, and each rabbit represents a different level. And so that's what the 400 drunk portraits represent, these 400 levels. So I might even go beyond that, because apparently the Aztecs also believe that 400 also meant infinity.
I guess I would want to be asked, like, what's your favorite obsession or something? Because
What is your favorite obsession?
yeah, I have an obsession with traffic cones.
A lot of
It's
your
like,
work has like mapping involved in it. And,
yeah.
so does that fit in?
Yeah, geographically, I'm interested in like topography and like place and space, and how like spaces are created through culture, through people, just like the way it's inhabited. But the cone stuff is really about like power and like that dynamic. I really think it has like this contradictive feeling where it's trying to protect you, but it's also denying you from something. Mm-hmm. So kind of like the figure. Yeah, definitely. It creates.
But it's a temporary boundary. So it has this
it's an inanimate boundary, and it's an extension of people, an extension of law, an extension of power, without it, actually telling you to do something in a command form, or it's like implied or implicit. Yeah. So it's kind of like a parent figure, or even like a cop figure, where it's like, it's like, you're not allowed here, you get the fuck out of here, or like, no, sweetie, like, you don't want to come over here, like, it's not safe, like, you're not going to be safe
dangerous
here. So it's just like this really, that dynamic is really interesting to me. And I also like, it sounds kind of weird, but like, I like the idea of like them being my slaves too, or like them being my friends, or like, how like little girls when they have like a bunch of dolls, and like,
yes.
Even in like what was it, like Toy Story, where like she's like playing with all the dolls, and then it's like really violent, or I don't know, that idea, like I kind of see that in myself with like the cones too, where it's like,
you can play out all kinds of different power dynamics.
Yeah, so I'm just interested in that mainly, and I want to eventually like map all of these out in their geo coordinates, and have all the photographs that I've taken over time like associated with that, and I don't know. There's something interesting about that. It's like temporary also. It's not like fixed. So it's like there's a time layer too. And I don't know. It's super interesting to me.
Yeah.
So
We asked Liz and Cynthia what made them decide that the space would be utilized as both a studio and a gallery, and just about the artist-run deal in general.
Yeah, I feel for me like that was totally automatic because I wanted to build that community outside of school. Because once you're cut off from that, I feel like I'm not going to be motivated enough to do work or to, you know, have people come in and create my work and help me out with my own process. So, yeah.
I think a lot of people, and especially in America, like see it as arbitrary to like study art or like continue an artist practice. Like, I mean, how can you like rationalize like going to the studio like and, and being like, oh, I need to apply pigment to paper, like I don't know, like
it's
paint to paper, like
capitalist thing almost, because we really have zero hope of really getting an RTO that's real, a return on investment. That's like no real capitalist would ever put their money into something that's that much.
Yeah, recently someone asked me like, oh, well, how does like the Getty make money if like they don't charge for exhibition like entrance fees, right? And I'm just like, oh, okay, like, you know, I explained like that's a foundation. They actually give out money to other people. They actually start other projects even outside of their like own quarters. And, you know, they charge for, like, parking, but that's probably, like, just facility management stuff, like, reinforcing the parking or whatever. Right. But after they asked me, like, so how does, like, Flatline make money? And I'm like, we don't. Like,
this is our gift to you.
Yeah. It's, like, I don't know. For me, like, I graduated, like, 3 years ago now. And I got a studio right away because I was like, I need to continue making work. I need the space. Like, I need to make sure that I'm like going to it like my second job. And I got a space in Signal Hill at like Mixed Signals. Like there's like 8 artists working in there. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was like, this isn't big enough for me anymore. And like, I want it to be more like accessible to the public because it was like kind of like a warehouse. And like, I'm like, I want to, you know, have more engagement and like invite people over and like I said, glorified crits. Like that's what I was looking forward to. And Liz and I were working together like at our job and
at the Arts Council.
Yeah. And we were just like, dude, let's go in on a space. So like we were looking for something for like a year, like
just shopping around. Yeah, because we were talking about like, wouldn't it be cool if we had our own space and we could work there and also show there. And so we're like, yeah, if we find something, like keep an eye out and we'll try to make that happen. And we did. So. And it happened right after I graduated. So I feel super thankful for it because I graduated and I just kept going. I didn't have that time period where I just like, you know, what am I going to do with myself? So I feel super lucky for that.
And now for everybody's favorite segment, side hustles.
Yeah, side hustles are... I have a few right currently. So I work at the Arts Council for Long Beach as an education and community programs manager. So I started working there as an intern through the Getty Foundation's multicultural undergraduate internship program. And I don't know, I stayed in Cal State Long Beach for like 7 years, and I saw people graduate, and I was like, fuck, one, I need to have a job while I'm still going to school because I need to make sure that I have like the stamina to like work and do my artwork. Yeah. And 2, I was just like, I'm not going to be like scrounging for money. So I'm like, what skill sets can I pick up? Like what, you know, like what can I do to like really make sure that I'm going to continue my artist practice? So I do also like freelance photography, shooting people's artwork, mainly paintings. And, you know, like a lot of people can shoot paintings like with their cameras, like everyone has DSLR, but I'm a painter. So like I know how to color edit. Like it's not just, I don't know. And like light balance too. Like it's like, important. Yeah. So I do that. And I also teach at a senior center for students that are like over the age of 55, and in Norwalk where I grew up. So that's super fun, like teaching painting. Like my oldest student's 97, and she's like, I learned so much today. Like you're such a great teacher, and that just like warms my heart. You know, like it's pretty cool to be able to like give someone a new skill set. It's pretty cool. It's like having like 20 grandmas. So
Cute.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I also work at the Arts Council with Cynthia, and I also interned there, I think 2016, and the Community Programs Associate. And so what I do is I go with our artists in residence to elementary schools, and we teach the fundamentals of art to third graders. So it's been a lot of fun working with kids. You know, it almost doesn't feel like a side hustle, because I just go in and I teach them, like, you know, this is line, shape, form, and how to mix color, which I'm a painter. So they're teaching little kids how to paint, and then seeing them when it clicks how to mix color. It's awesome, because they're like, look, that's my favorite part of because they tell me that's the favorite part of the lesson. Like, they're like, Miss Liz, look, I painted this. And then they tell me, like, oh, I went home and I painted all this stuff. I'm going to bring it to school to show you. So it's awesome to see the kids that didn't have the opportunity to paint with a brush, or like never had the opportunity, actually use it and get it so quick and be like, oh, like this is something I could do. This is something I could be as an adult. Like they don't know it's a job.
And then for our segment about who they would like to recommend for us to interview next.
He graduated with me last year, and he's gonna show here at Flatline in May. He's a figurative painter, and what he does is he does these really huge oil paintings of homeless people. So he goes out and he interviews homeless people, and he takes pictures for reference, and then he paints them with their surroundings. But he does these really cool things where he like crops the image, and then he like duplicates it. So, like, for example, he did one of this guy who was on the street, I think in downtown LA, and he had a violin, because I guess he used to be a violin player, so he still carried around his violin, and he was like really fidgety. So the way he depicted him, he was just like, his arms were just like, you know, going everywhere, and just and crop the scene where you would usually be able to find him. Mm-hmm. So I think he would be cool to interview, and he's in an art space in downtown LA with other artists.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I'd have to recommend to interview my friend Jasmine Nurea. We featured her in December in the exhibition titled I.E. Insatiable Lingua. So she works with video, performance, and installation. So a lot of like food commentary, and like on like food deserts and stuff like that. And she did that hot Cheeto piece that's on our Instagram. Yeah. And our Instagram handle's __ flatline. So just FYI.
So get out your pens and papers, everybody, because this is the segment in which everyone's going to give their Instagram handles. You can run over there, follow them, like it all. It's going to be fun.
My Instagram handle's at Desfigurados. It's disfigured in Spanish. So.
Okay, so Liz, what's yours?
Mine's at Munzon, so it's EMUNZON.
We asked Liz and Cynthia about how Flatline fits into the larger art scene, and this is what they had to say about that. Talking about like the entire LA scene, looking for a central moment in the art scene doesn't really exist in LA at all. It's so
Nor
spread out,
globally,
but,
I
like,
think. I don't think it exists globally either.
No.
Yeah.
I know people do try to break it down into, like, there's these major cities where art happens. It's like New York, LA, London, Hong Kong,
Yeah.
you know, and the list goes on from there, but
I don't really believe in that anymore. That's like decentralized because of the internet and yeah.
so is that where you feel like Flatline fits in? It's just all like, you know, we're worldwide, motherfucker.
I mean, personally, I've tried to like put people's nationality on like the group shows and like, you know, stating whether they're American or like Canadian or Japanese, like, and that's not to like outcast them, but like I really think that you have to think of yourself as an artist like in this moment in time and space. Like, you're from Los Angeles, like, because it's like greater LA to me anyways, like even if we're in Long Beach, like I still feel like relative to like someone who's in like Beijing, like they're not gonna think like Long Beach, they're gonna think like you're from like
Right.
Southern California
Sure.
or whatever. So I don't know, personally, like I take a more egalitarian approach of just like it's creating opportunity and like putting out there what you want to see. So it's kind of like anti-establishment, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I feel like it's almost going towards that direction. Like it used to be the museums, the galleries, and now it's like all these alternative art spaces.
Yeah.
Where people feel, I think now people our age or our generation feel more comfortable showing or hanging out in an alternative art space because it feels less formal and more personal. There's more community behind it.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to do the whole like capitalistic thing either. So I think some people are scared about that. It's
Yeah.
intimidating going into a super capitalistic gallery environment.
Yeah, because you feel limited and you feel like you have
Yeah.
to perform. Like, you feel like you can't, like, veer off into, like, a different body of work or, like, experiment or whatever.
So do you guys go to the shows at like Hauser and Wirth and Regan Projects and
It's funny because I'm actually going today to Hauser and Wirth.
okay.
But yeah, it's
So
just
you
like
do-
engaging with that dialogue, like in terms of like knowing what's out there. Like I think you can't like live in a silo. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's just like
So what is your experience like when you go to a gallery like that?
I mean it varies, and I mean like working at a nonprofit. Like I'm used to being in. I don't know, like, I'd say it's white cultured spaces, like, typically, you know, so I'm used to it. Like, if someone doesn't say hi or, like, totally ignores me or, like, totally thinks that, like, I work there or something, I'm just like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to look at the work, which is what I'm here for, because ultimately they're still representing artists who I think, like, are trying to, like, get their work out, you know? Like,
Sure.
I don't really think they're, like, necessarily selling out or whatever just because they're showing at a commercial gallery. It's like it's still fucking good work. Yeah, I'm not knocking any of it either, you know. It's just like it's like I don't know, that whole like you're not invited to the party thing, but like all right, I'm just gonna make my own party, like I don't know, like, but I will say we kind of are in a silo here, like I don't know, I feel like, and that's also like a good thing because it's what creates like such a strong community. Like it's like not giving a fuck about whoever else is like what everybody else is doing, you know. And I feel like a lot of the projects and like things that go on here are really genuine too, you know. So it's not like trying to impress somebody. It's just because like you want to create that like event or like experience or community or whatever. So.
Get out those pens and papers again because here's the upcoming shows at Flatline.
So in April, I'm curating a show titled Broken Links. So it's about digital media and the internet and like how we access information and like technology and stuff like that. So
And that's going to be here at Flatline.
yeah, that'll be here at Flatline. It opens, I think, April 14th. Flatline's located off the main streets, Artesia and Atlantic Boulevard in North Long Beach. Our exact address is 6023 Atlantic Avenue, Long Beach, California, 90804.
And it's only up for a few days. So we have the opening receptions on Saturdays and the closing on Thursdays. So if you can't make it on one, you can make it on the other day.
Yeah, and we're also open by appointment too. So
By appointment, or we'll
flexible.
We'll post gallery hours too if we have them.